Good morning, guys. Welcome back to the channel. Today's goal is to get this right here installed into this. I did set up the exhaust manifold and intake manifold just to see how it looks and for yesterday's thumbnail. If you guys want to see that whole video of reassembling this motor, go check out that video. So let's pull off these manifolds. We do have to install our clutch. So we're running the ACT HD clutch, I think it was called. I think it's the best clutch they make for an Evo 8 or Evo 9. And then with an OEM flywheel. I have an ACT lightweight flywheel, but I've never really been a big fan of lightweight flywheels just because of the chatter factor. We're just going to be going back to the OEM flywheel. I don't know exactly how we're going to be doing this today. I don't know if I want to bolt the transmission onto the engine and then put that in the car together. That's how I would usually do it, but being that we spent so much time on this motor, making it all black, making it 100% perfect looking, I don't want to scratch the shit out of it trying to get it up in the car. It'd be really, really easy to do. Just drop it in from the top with the hoist, throw the motor in, and then bolt the tranny onto the motor. It's kind of what I'm thinking I'm going to do, but we'll figure that out later. For now, let's just get the manifolds off, get the engine hoist out, get this thing on the hoist. We have a few like backing plate things to install, and then the flywheel, the clutch, and then from there we can figure out what the hell we're going to do for the installation. We are ready to drop in the engine into the car. I have decided on just putting the motor in separately, and then after that is in, we get a few, I don't know how many motor mounts we can get on. I guess we can get like one motor mount on. We can bolt up the transmission to the motor, and they got all of the motor mounts on. Before we put anything in the car though, we do have to get the transfer case back in the car right now. The transfer case isn't bolted to anything except for the transmission. It sits right up in here, connects to the drive line. There's 6 bolts that go to the transmission, CV axle that goes that way. Then there's a stub, a CV axle stub that runs from the transfer over to the transmission, and then a CV axle goes that way. That's all there is to the transfer case on this car. If you had an ACD car, you would have like the ACD line coming from the back all the way up to the transfer case. I do think I'm gonna lay down a towel right there. I know I'm a little weird with my things, but I spent so much time on that subframe, I don't want to mess it up. So I'm gonna lay down a towel, get the transfer case mounted up in there with the drive line on, and then we can slide the motor. We're gonna go through the top, drop the motor in, and this is the only motor mount that we can really get on right now. The only other motor mounts are that one there, one on this side, and then there's that bottom cross member that runs from the subframe all the way up to the front core support. So before we install the transfer case into the car, we're actually going to be filling it up with the transfer case fluid. And we're going to be doing it the Jax transmission way. If you guys are in the Evo DSM community, I'm sure you've heard of Jax before. Very reputable company. So basically what they recommend is with the transfer case out of the car, you're going to flip it up on end so the tail end is facing up. And through where the drive shaft connects to the transfer case, we're going to put a full quart of fluid in there. Then we're going to put the transfer case in the car. When it's all finished up, we're going to go drive the car around the block, come back, let it sit, pull the fill plug out, and it's going to drain all the excess fluid out. I've never done it this way. I figured I'd give it a shot. Hopefully we can get it in the car without spilling all of the gear oil, all the fluid all over the place. But yeah, let's give it a shot and see what happens. So it's completely empty right now. We have the drain plug in there. We're going to put the fill plug in and tighten it up. So we're going to take the transfer. We're going to flip it up on end. Should kind of stay there by itself. The fluid we're going to be using is a 7590 made by Redline. So we're going to put the whole quart right into the transfer case. We got it all filled up. The hard part is definitely going to be trying to get it up in the car, getting the driveline on before we spill all of the fluid all over the ground. If other people can do it though, I think we can figure it out eventually. We have plenty of fluid here to redo it a few times if we need to. That was actually really simple. I think I'm gonna do it that way from here on out if we already have the transfer case out of the car. So from here, we're just gonna take our long block, we're gonna drop it in the car, get that one motor mount on, and then wiggle the tranny up in there, get it bolted together, and hopefully get all the motor mounts on. Hopefully that's the way it works. I mean, obviously it's gonna work. I know it's gonna be a lot more time consuming, but I think it's gonna be a little bit easier in the long run. It's just gonna be, yeah, like I said, a lot more time consuming, that's all. Alright guys, just like that, the motor is in the car, the transfer case is in the car. Let's pull out the tranny. We have to throw a few things on there, like the clutch fork and a few boots. New throwout bearing, kind of grease up the throwout bearing, and we can throw the transmission into the car. I hope it goes smooth. I wish I had 2 engine hoists, because that would be really nice. Have one hooked up to the engine, one to the trans. But I think if I just grab a jack up the tranny, and bolt it up together, it should go pretty smooth. Let's give it a shot. We just got the transmission bolted to the engine. It was actually pretty easy doing it that way. I don't think I'll ever do it again unless I'm actually worried, like this motor, how I'm actually worried about like preserving the coatings that we did. So we got it all bolted together. I got the clutch fork engaged, made sure that clipped in fine. From here, we're just gonna bolt the transmission to the transfer case and then get all the motor mounts on. And then from there, guys, it's just a bunch of accessories, turbo, exhaust manifold, intake manifold, all the wiring. We got to delete some wiring, I think, for the evap stuff that we deleted. And yeah, just keep on trucking. As of right now, we have all of the major components on. All the motor mounts are on. The 3, obviously the engine tranny transfers in, starter, alternator. From here, I think we want to move on to the power steering, the AC compressor, get all the stuff on, like the passenger side of the motor, all the pulleys, the accessory belt on, and then from there it's like intake manifold, exhaust manifold, and we have to deal with all of the wiring as well. And one thing I completely forgot about is I ripped off an injector plug, and I think I threw it away because I was gonna order like a nice set of injector plugs. The ones we wired in are pretty shitty and cheesy, so I was gonna order a nice set, and of course I forgot. So I think I only have 3 injector plugs right now, and I don't think it's gonna run too good on 3 injectors. Let's bang out some stuff over here. There are a few things over here I want to clean up. This mount is a little bit rusty. What else? That hardware is pretty crusty, and other than that, it's not too bad. Everything else to be covered up. I keep saying we gotta stop somewhere, but yeah, we went this far, we might as well make it as clean as possible. All right, we have a bunch of stuff installed now. As you guys notice, I did put that little stopper bracket on there. I would highly recommend that along with the ACT monolock collar that we installed on that ACT clutch, just so you don't have that throw out bearing issue like we've had in the past with the Evo 10. Those two things will definitely cure that issue. Let's move on to the intake manifold. I think I'm just gonna do the intake manifold right now. We have a ton of wiring to deal with. Once again, I'm pretty pissed off and upset that I forgot about these injector plugs. Look at that ghetto wiring job I did back in the day. Damn. Back when I didn't care about this car, I was doing ghetto stuff. So yeah, let's get the intake manifold on, throttle body on. Got all new gaskets for that, and we should be making some good progress. All right, this is where we're chilling right now. I got a bunch of wiring, kind of figured out where it goes, what we need to extend, what we need to delete, and what we need to shorten a little bit. So that wire clearly needs to be shortened. The cam sensor wire needs to be lengthened. There was 2 plugs that I had no clue what they were for, one on each side of the manifold, and I thought, and they ended up going to the coil packs. We can put those on later. All the stuff over here is for the battery. We need to figure out what the hell we're doing for battery. I kind of want to throw it in the trunk just to clean it up. So basically, I want 2 main harnesses. They're both going to run underneath the intake manifold. All the injector wiring we're going to have to extend. It's going to run from under the manifold up to the top. I don't like the look of the main harness on top. We have map sensor right there, throttle body. We have 2 throttle body connections there. And then there's about 4 plugs we need to delete that were all like EGR, evap stuff. If the car starts and runs later on, after we get all the codes deleted, we can just delete those, cut them off, and clean up the harness quite a bit. But that's how the intake manifold is looking right now. It looks so much cleaner versus how it was before. The only thing we got left is just the 4 injector wires, and we should be able to make that look pretty clean. All the injector plugs I'll be replacing with like a little bit higher quality injector plugs. So this is what we have right now. They're just like the Bosch or Denso plugins for our injectors. And I think I may have found a shop here that sells the higher quality ones, so I'll just replace all of those. And then all the wiring's gonna run underneath the manifold. 4 wires are gonna run right to the top. We can't do any more wiring tonight, so let's move on to the turbo kit. If we can get that on tonight with the feed and return and all that good stuff, tomorrow we should be able to get the wiring for the injectors and hopefully do the first startup on this thing. So here's all the turbo kit stuff. We have the FP manifold, I forget what kind of heat shield this was. Some sort of heat shield for the manifold, Megan Racing downpipe, the 25G Turbo Lab of America turbo, and then the external dump O2. So the reason I didn't coat anything here, I don't know if I'm gonna run this setup for much longer. I do kind of want to go over to a forward facing turbo, and then I kind of missed it, but here's the JD custom titanium hardware for the exhaust manifold. So yeah, let's get all this stuff on. We made some good progress today though, guys. Motor training transfers in the car, it's the most important thing. Just got the turbo kit all finished up. That is pretty much a wrap for tonight, guys. There's not much else we can do. I guess we could put the radiator in, but I want to get all the wiring figured out and sorted before we do the radiator. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know we didn't get the first start like we were hoping, but that will definitely be coming tomorrow if I can get those injector plugs either tonight or tomorrow morning. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Peace out. I'll see you in the next episode.